Summit has a show this Sunday, and I really wish it didn't because my buddy's trying to take me down to
Paradise
it's
City?
either Cleveland or Cincinnati. I don't know who
Thank
it
you.
is. But Streetlight Manifesto is playing this Sunday.
Wait,
I
I
don't
know
have
you
to
like
work.
them.
Where are they playing?
I
Let's find out right now.
yes, I don't know.
November's playing tonight.
Are they? Where at?
Cleveland, or maybe I don't know. Maybe that's Thursday.
You're like,
Tuesday.
They're playing in Cleveland. That's all he said. Man, that sucks. I love Streetlight. Streetlight Manifesto is one of those bands that's just like if they come out with a song, guaranteed hit. At least for me, personally.
I dig them. It's interesting. Like they're in Cleveland as well. You said?
Yeah.
And early November's in Cleveland.
Yeah, sometime this week.
Yeah, but like for some reason, it doesn't seem like all the bands from that scene and that world kind of bypass Columbus when they're coming through and go to Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, like
I did see the early November at Ace of Cups.
Okay.
And I met Ace Enders in person. I've been listening to the early November since I was like a little peewee. Actually, that's how him and I became friends.
Yeah.
I was at a bar peeing in the trough. It was a college bar. It was Outer End.
Okay,
and I
it was
hear
the library.
Or the library, sorry. And I hear
It's like,
someone
actually
standing.
that wasn't a bar. That wasn't a trough.
It was
Well, the library bar.
I hear somebody standing outside talking about the early November, and I'm not hammered, but I'm half drunk, and I'm like, I've never heard anyone talk about this band. So I had just enough of a loosey-goosey to go out and be like, who are you, and why are you talking about them? And that was, 7 years ago?
I don't know.
Something like
That's
that.
Something like
that's
that.
legit. How you guys met?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we started talking about playing music together.
It's a real Step Brothers moment. Did we just become best friends?
It really was. We talked about the early
Yup.
November for like an hour, and then went on our separate ways. And
See, I was
7 years
less.
later.
I was less excited about the early November and more excited about I Can Make a Mess, which is also Ace Enders, but they were both playing.
oh, that's right. Yeah, they're on tour. Well, I mean, I guess there are other band members, but it's like Ace Enders. Of course, you're on tour with I Can Make a Mess because you're on tour with yourself.
Yeah, and a million
Yeah,
different
He
people.
would just
That's
do
right.
like a full set.
Yeah, like he's the lead
cool.
singer of both.
Yeah.
It's like if the Wonder Years said we're going on tour with Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, by default,
It's good for Aaron West. It makes good financial sense to do that.
man.
So you guys, that's how you met.
Yep.
How did the band come together? Was it immediately that you decided let's be in a band?
No, it took. Well, we did, and then I ran around chasing girls for like 5 years. And then
exactly what happened.
I mean, it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck. Let's call it a duck. But I realized that, I was 26, and I was like, man, I'm sick of just thinking about doing it. And I texted him. I was like, look, I mean it for real this time.
And I'm just like, prove it. That was my response.
It was.
Because like sometimes
It was.
I come over, he'd be like, hey, let's come over, hang out and play some music. And I come over, he's like, oh, I've got this girl coming over, so I'm just like, all right, I just brought all my stuff over, so okay,
That wasn't great.
come over to my birthday. We don't have to talk about his birthday. At least not that one.
So I mean, this literally happened a lot. Like trying to get the band going, and just like, nah, I got.
Yeah, it was
over.
me kicking the rock down the road for sure.
Yeah.
But then there was just a moment where it was like, no, we're doing this thing.
Okay.
Let's let it rip.
So how long has Cotter been together as an active band? Like from that moment, was that what you guys started off as?
July 2019. Or
July 2019,
July
yeah.
2019, yeah. So
Okay, right before the pandemic.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. We
Yeah.
played our show right before everything shut down. Our first show ever. We played it right before the shutdown.
For real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's,
so-
we instead of being beat up about it, we just went into writing mode and ended up meeting a bunch of people that we're close with. One of them being Joel Shedlock, and he recorded our first EP. And we're like, if we can't go outside, we can at least record things inside.
Yeah. Make the most of it.
Yeah, right.
Right. So I was turned on you guys from you were talking about you watched the episode with Ryan,
Yeah.
aka Huge. Love that guy.
Bless.
So him and I forget who else it was. Like somebody else right around the same time frame.
Was it Kenzie from Hello Luna?
No.
She
But I mean, we did. But I already was aware of you guys at that point. Whenever,
Gotcha.
but you know, she's definitely saying, "Oh, you should get them on the show." She gave me a list after we were done. She was like, "Oh, that was cool. Here's some other bands that you should try to get on." And you guys were on that list. And I was
she's
like,
a saint.
yeah,
Yeah, she's awesome.
she's awesome. Like, she's so talented. That was a really. I mean, I don't want to say just fun. It was fun. It was really enjoyable. But it was really, I really appreciated her willing to talk about like her trauma and everything that she had been through, and you know, whenever, you know, sometimes I'll chat with people before we do the show, and just like, if there's anything you don't have to talk about that stuff, and she's like, no, I want to talk about it, you know, like, and I thought that's powerful, you know, and she's just so great. I've become a really big fan of Hello Luna, you know, and it's easy to root for good people too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys were on the list of people that I should have on, so yeah, it's between her and Ryan, and I think it was Brandon over at Punkerton is who it was.
That tracks.
Oh,
yeah.
bless.
Yeah. It's because
Love
like
Brandon.
I met Brienne, and she's like, "Oh, you should have them on the show," and I'm like, "Yeah, we're it's in the works." she's a good publicist.
Yeah.
That was cool, but that's when I finally reached out to you, and I'm like, "All right, enough people have said this." I'm like, "All right, let's just do it."
Yeah, let's do the thing.
So yeah, I'm excited to have you guys on. So, you know, for a few years now, you've been together. Like, what do you guys have out there album wise? You recorded a little bit during the pandemic, you said. And really
Yeah,
made the
so
most
we
of it.
recorded an EP. We just blew through like 5 songs in 3 days because, you know, we played 2 shows
from scratch, like starting.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Start to
Yeah, I
finish.
think so.
Yeah, right on.
I think
Finish
one
it.
of them was one that I had written in like 2009 that never went anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I'd played in some other bands that nobody cared about. So that's kind of what's cool about being in Cotter is that like I'm 36 going on 37 now. And this is the first time in like my life and musical career that people actually like are like into it. And I'm just like, what? Why? Like, I don't know what this is like. So you know, yeah, we had a song or two maybe that I think we just, you know, that I had from old times. I'm like, oh, let's throw this one in there. And then a lot of stuff we just kind of wrote from scratch. And we're just, you know, we had played 2 shows before the pandemic. And the kind of the feeling where we're like, oh, we need to get music out there. Because the second show that we played, we had opened for Brave the Sea. And, you know, someone come up to us, where can I listen to your music? And we're like, here?
Yeah, we weren't on.
So that really
Spotify
lit a
and
fire under us
CDs.
to get some music out, and so we recorded that EP really quickly. And I mean, like, it sounds great for what it is, but like, you know, if you know anything about recording songs, you shouldn't do 5 songs in 3 days.
No.
But
But I got to give a huge shout out. I mean, we were dead broke, you know, and I'm in the service industry. I bartend and serve. So the pandemic really just got me, you know what I mean? So we all
Didn't have
had
that stimulus check money. It only goes so far.
all of us had to pool pennies together.
Yeah.
And we go to Joel Shedlock and we're like, we don't have any money. Can we please make this work? And he's like, yeah. I fucking guess, yeah, all right.
It's like, if it makes you feel better, like nobody else has any money, so you're not losing out on business. Everybody's broke right now.
Right, like, come on, get in here. And yeah, I mean, it sounds like a live EP, which that's what it is. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you do so much work in 3 days.
Yeah. But I mean, there has to be, I mean, do you feel like it captured like kind of that moment in time, right? You know, like,
Oh, yeah.
when, like everything that was going on, and you guys, I think there's a great story behind that. You know, the further on you go with your band and the more success you continue to have, he's like, all right, this was the EP that we did during the pandemic and when we were broke, and it kind of captured that moment, that energy, which there's something to be said about that.
what we kind of did, how that EP came together, is because, you know, a lot of that was during quarantine where we couldn't get together and rehearse. You know, we couldn't go anywhere. So, you know, we were taking files that we're recording on, you know, GarageBand or, you know, whatever random like DAW that someone has on their Windows laptop, and just sending them back and forth to each other. And, you know, I'd record a guitar part over, you know, some drum track that I just made up out of GarageBand, and then, you know, I'd send it over to Howard, and he'd put his vocals in, then he'd send it back to me, and put my harmonies in, then we'd send it over to, you know, our bassist and our drummer, and they'd put their parts in. Our drummer had an electronic drum kit that he was just able to kind of record those parts, and so we kind of built like our demos that way, being completely separate from one another. So, technology, the internet, all of those things. Like that was
Yeah.
really great for us. So that way, when we went into the studio, we really had that opportunity to be like, okay, we know these songs.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's a lot of bands that they do that regardless of what's going on. Like, look at Blink.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how they do all their, would you do it that way again if it wasn't necessary?
nah.
Did you find a groove with that?
I think we really enjoy, because like what happens with us is that when we get together and we just start jamming and we just start playing, like really being able to feel that's when we know that we have something good, we have something special, and that's hard to it's hard to capture that in just like these kind of little demos. It helps with like the learning the parts and being able to come to rehearsal and know what to play. But like a lot of our best stuff comes together when we're all together and we're like, man, that felt really good. Like, let's do that again.
No, I get that completely. I imagine that it would be really difficult to have to do it, electronically and send files back and forth because, I mean, talk about bands that nobody cared about. Another lifetime ago, I was in a couple different bands and nobody cared. But like we weren't good, but we tried to record, and that's what we would do. Just get together and just kind of like jam, and do our thing. And I can't imagine. Maybe it's because I don't have the skill set to do it at that level, but it seems like it'd be really, really difficult to really lose yourself in the music and the inspiration doing that.
You can't get in the groove.
Yeah.
It's very, But we made it work.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Right on.
Yeah. From there, we started recording with Jacob Mooney, and that's when our production went from, hey, we took 3 days to record 5 songs to we took like 3 weekends to record a song and a half, and the production quality and like the final product is so much better. But that's because we sunk the time into that, and Mooney doing what he does. I mean, he really kind of helped turn some songs that were really. They were demos, and like when we were going to record them, we're like, "This is how we're recording them." He's like, "No, you're not." And so, we brought Will Dealey from Beartooth and Heavy Things in, and Adam Gilbert from Starset to work with some drum tracks for us. And so we did 3 songs: "Keep Driving," which seems to be our most popular single, "All in My Mind," and "The Things I Don't Know." And we had a lot of help from Will and Adam on those, and I think that's really why they came out in such the great form factor that they did. That and Mooney's production, there's like, no, I'm not going to let you record this as is. Like, let's put some work into it. And we're like, okay.
I can't repeat what he said to me when he was making fun of me. When I first met the guy, never met him in my life.
I mean, you can curse.
Immediately starts by cracking jokes, and I'm like, wow, okay, we're gonna get along. And I've known Will since I was 14. We went to high school together. So I go into the booth at Mooney's for the first time. I start singing a song like I did on our first EP. And he stops the recording and goes, "How old are you?" And I think at the time I was 27 probably. So I said 27, and he goes, "Great, time to start singing like it." And then and I'm like, wow, man, like, so that's what we're putting up with. And he knew that I was close with Will. So he had never met Will in his life, but just messages him on Facebook and starts like launching insults about me and how he fixed my voice. Come listen to it. And sure enough, the next day, Will Dealey's in the recording studio. And I'm like, this whole process is a roast, and I'm so here for it. and the end result is great. I mean, it changed the entire way that I sing. So,
which is pretty incredible. But at the time, was it difficult to have? I mean, you talked about some ideas coming in. No, we're not going to let you record that. They're kind of, giving you shit about your style,
huge
singing
headache.
style.
Huge headache for all of us. There were parts in Keep Driving that he very much wanted to keep. In one of our newest songs, Never Look Back, our rhythm guitarist and myself really wanted to keep these other parts. And learning to, I guess, let go of the art has been a big, and the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. But the
my
process sometimes is difficult, I would imagine.
you're so tied to it,
Sure.
and that's what you love. And then someone who's never worked on it before is like, "That's wrong. We're gonna fix it." And you're like, "Excuse me? Like, who are you?" Like, But the proof's in the pudding. I mean, you look back and everybody loves Keep Driving, and I hear great things about Never Look Back, and I'm like, man, I just need to take it, learning to step off the gas.
So, with the final product, do you feel that you have established, both of you guys, kind of a new relationship with that, and are you still holding on to some of the old ideas that you originally brought to the table? Is it difficult to go out and hear things a certain way and it wasn't quite the way you envisioned it?
We keep the old versions of our songs alive, playing them acoustically.
Okay.
So the acoustic versions of our songs are how we originally wrote them.
So you get to be able to experience both of those and have the fans experience both. That seems like a good compromise.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think. But I'm going to go back a little bit to, you guys were talking about early November and how you kind of bonded over them. What are some of the other artists that kind of inspired you guys from the get-go, and leading into that, some of the artists that continue to inspire you guys?
Man, I've been listening to Midnights so much by Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely...
You're smirking. I can't tell if you're being serious or
No,
not.
I'm so
he's
serious.
serious.
That's going to be the top of my Spotify rap this year, hands down. I love the way that she does her kind of random vocalizations. I love how she puts together a certain, there's just things that she does in her songwriting that are really okay, I do that. I was listening to kind of the bonus tracks on 1989, which is, in my opinion, one of the best pop albums of all time. And she's talking about how, she'll kind of come up with a melody and then add lyrics into fitting that melody. I'm like, I do that. You do that too. And it just totally makes me feel oh, I'm doing something right.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, arguably the most successful pop artist of all time at this point.
Didn't their Ticketmaster crashed a bunch of times, and now they're, for 2 tickets, it's $13,000 or something.
It's a sore subject for me right now.
Did you try to get tickets but couldn't?
Yeah, it didn't work out.
$13,000. Wow.
I might be able to help you. I appreciate Taylor Swift. I think she's super talented. I don't personally own any of her albums, but I hear them all the time because my wife loves her and has all of her stuff, and she's been playing Midnights. Very good stuff. I'm a big fan of Jack. I love Bleachers.
Oh, yeah.
And so, there's always that tie-in. So she was, and by proxy, I as well, were dealing with Ticketmaster the other day, and we somehow ended up getting 4 tickets for either Cincinnati or Detroit. So we'll talk later, but maybe I might be able to help you. I don't know anything about it. So she got tickets she got through for Cincinnati and Detroit for us to go. So we'll be seeing Taylor Swift next year.
Very nice.
But one of them, there's doubles. So if you're interested.
Yeah, let's talk later.
Yeah, we were just going to sell them online, but because we don't know what to do with them, we'll talk. Happy accidents.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So you're a big fan.
Big fan of Taylor Swift. My favorite band of all time is Third Eye Blind.
I was just talking about them. I love Third Eye Blind.
So the first, that album really kind of defined who I was when I was trying to figure out who I was. Going into junior high school, I got the self-titled album, and
that's the one with Semi-Charmed Life. Is that what it's called? That's what it's called.
And I remember taking it home, sitting down with the lyric book, in my little CD player that was about yay big, and I went through the whole entire album and followed along with the lyrics. And then when it was done, I did it again. I'm just and that's what like made me want to like really pick up a guitar and start playing.
That's awesome.
And so like a lot of songs, especially like our newer stuff, I'm writing in open D tuning, which is one that Kevin Cadigan used on a lot of the self-titled stuff. And so that was a huge influence for me as like a guitarist was Third Eye Blind. Yeah.
Very
I'd
cool.
say those have kind of been my biggest influences lately. Mayday Parade, Deftones, I listen to a lot of, and I'm gonna let Howard talk before I take over that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. I do want to ask you though, with Third Eye Blind, do you like the stuff later in their career as well, or is it more of like the early stuff for you?
I like a lot of everything. Like I really it was music that I really connected to like at a young age, and then I feel like as an adult I get it more because I'm an adult.
Yeah,
But
sure.
like
It hits different.
I wouldn't say that I love every single thing that they do, but they're still putting out bangers. Like they're still putting out stuff that I'm like, man, okay, yeah, I connect with this.
There's
like,
at least 2 or 3 songs I feel like on every album that I'm like, okay, yeah.
yeah.
So Howard, do you also share the love of like Taylor Swift and the modern pop stars?
There are certain songs by T Swift that I really like. I'm certainly not a Swiftie by any means, but she's great. If somebody turns on Taylor Swift, I won't turn her off.
Really, I mean, I appreciate that she writes her own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's
that
incredibly
immediately adds
talented.
credibility
Yeah,
for me.
she's incredibly
You know?
talented.
And good melodies and everything. So,
Just not normally my cup of tea. I wouldn't turn it on in my free time. For me right now, I've been really going back to basics so Third Eye Blind for him, for me would be Depeche Mode, My Chemical Romance, and Counting Crows.
okay.
Counting Crows, real heavy on the Counting Crows, where it's this. Thank you. They kind of explore this idea of, at least in my mind, a lot of their songs are, you're talking about heartbreak, you're talking about real issues you have in your 30s. Like exploring your own mental health and how dark things can be. And they're just that style of writing, I guess, where it's more complicated than just getting hurt by someone. Dealing with your life and the things that you have to somehow get through is really how I've been trying to write. Same kind of style as Adam from Counting Crows, I guess.
That's well said too. It's more complicated than just being. It's more than just being hurt by someone.
Right.
There's so many emotions that go along with that. And Counting Crows, super underrated band.
I don't hear anyone talk about Counting
I don't
Crows.
either, except I have one friend, Nick, who loved them all through our youth and still does.
Yeah.
But I mean, the hits like Mr. Jones and that kind of stuff,
Right.
and
Long December, yeah.
But you dive into their deeper catalog, and I mean, every couple years I rediscover them. It seems like, oh yeah,
Yeah, it's always around fall time. I'll end up like gravitating towards Counting Crows.
They're definitely that kind of. The leaves are changing or dying.
Everything's
kind of
slowing down.
Yeah.
Like the two that have
getting colder.
been getting me right now are Black and Blue and Good Time. Like Good Time especially, where it's like a relationship and they're happy, but they're learning to like expose themselves to each other and how hard that is, and like growing as a unit. It's weird. I love it. I love it.
Really good. And I'm glad that Adam finally like let go of what I'm almost positive was a wig for all those years.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, it's like, bro, just let it go.
Another band,
Age gracefully.
Not to trail on, but I was watching an interview with Adam, and somebody asked him what he believes is the most, I guess, influential new band coming up right now, and he listed a band called Gang of Youths. They're out of Australia.
I'm a little familiar with them.
Their album Go Further in Lightness,
Yeah.
front to back. I mean, it is.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it.
Do they have a lot of stuff to pick from? Or are they pretty new?
They're pretty new.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they just came out with a second album. Haven't gotten through it yet. But that first album, absolutely, it's pop music, poppy with that still kind of like Counting Crows tinge, and it is just incredible.
I don't know how I'm aware of them. Maybe it's like 92.9, maybe it's one of my friends, but like I feel like I definitely know the name. I feel like I've heard some stuff.
They're starting to blow up.
Yeah, that's cool. So that's interesting. Like Counting Crows, Third Eye Blind, they're two bands that they're like, contemporaries coming up in that same era, I think. And it's just, it's cool to hear about you guys talking about bands that are inspirations that aren't necessarily the expected bands. You know what I mean? I think it's off a little bit off the beaten path. I mean, Third Eye Blind probably still will live on forever, at least with Semi-Charm Life. But, you don't hear many people talk about Counting Crows anymore. Listen, they're not as much on the radar as they used to be, but still very talented. They should go on tour together.
You
guys should go on tour with them.
Oh God, dream come true.
Yeah.
Counting Crows' most recent album. Again, I mean, I really need to sit down and give it a good listen. But just even picking through it, it's incredible. Like, it's incredible. It's so good.
I think that's really true of a
this?
lot of those kind of 90s like alt rock bands is like they have their hits, you know, and the hits are what got them on the radio. But like you can tell that a band's a good band is when like it's really like the deep tracks that really are like, whoa, like this is where you find that connection. And like I think that's true with Third Eye Blind. Like a lot of people know Semi Charmed Life, Jumper, Never Let You Go, but like you kind of start digging into like some of the deeper tracks, like, you know, Motorcycle Drive By, Gotta Wine, and that's where you're just like, oh man, this band hits. And you know, the same is true with Counting Crows. People know the songs they know, but once you dive in, you're like, okay, yeah, I identify with a lot of this. Bush is another one of those where, you know, those deep tracks are like, okay, wow, yeah.
Bush is it's like comfort food for me. Like I just whenever I hear them, I'd be on the radio or like Pandora music or whatever, and it's like it just feels it's familiar and it's comfortable, you know. And like, yeah, let's just listen to this for a minute.
They're another band. I'm going to throw a curveball. Definitely my choice for just straight bubblegum pop that also follows that, and they're still around. Hanson.
Hanson slaps,
dude.
Man. Penny and Me.
Penny and Me.
Such a good
so
song.
good.
So I'm completely ignorant of their catalog.
So
all I know is
the
Mbop.
album that. Well, do you know what Mbop? Everybody knows Mbop.
Yeah.
But that song is about like you're only gonna have 5 friends that really last throughout your life. So don't sweat the small things because everyone's gonna leave you. It's like, man, that's dark.
And they were young too.
Yeah. And then there's another one about their grandma dying, and then you go throughout their catalog, and it is just banger after and the brothers all write the music together.
This early album is what you're talking about?
Yeah, on that early album, those 2 songs are present.
They were just teens, weren't they?
Yeah. And they kept going.
Underneath, I think, came out like 03, 04, that kind of.
Yeah.
I remember listening to that when I was a freshman in college. And that whole album's like slaps. Like they're incredible musicians, they're incredible songwriters, but you know they kind of fell into that trap of like they released a song and they got pigeonholed into that. But there are still people that I know personally that will follow them around on tour.
It's interesting that we were talking about them with really just the one big hit. I was just I had Brendan from Wheatus on the show a couple weeks ago, and you know they broke really big in the early 2000s with Teenage Dirtbag, and they said that he said that afforded them the ability to continue as a band and make more like artistic choices and you know and didn't have to worry about like selling the band as much. It was like, okay, we're gonna get them on that, and then they can do. And we talked about almost like, you know, in a film, an actor doing a big budget studio film, and then like the indie films for their creative satisfaction. And I guess it's kind of similar to what Hanson has done, carried on as a band. It's kind of cool. I mean, you know, there are pros and cons to that, and a lot of people tend to look at a band maybe as like, all right, that was you had that one big hit and you weren't able to do that again. But I think a better way to look at that would be you had that success and now you can continue on making music,
right,
doing what you want without having
to compromise with a major label or whatever it may be. I think that's the proper way to look at it.
Hanson was one of the first bands that did that. You know, that really broke away, and then they just made their own record. They were sick of dealing with record labels.
Yeah.
It was after there was Middle of Nowhere, which had Mbop, and then there was This Time Around, I think, was the album right after that. And then after that, they were just like, we're done. Like, we have enough money. We can do this on our own.
That's a gutsy move. You know? It's risky, but to bet on yourself, I think, is admirable.
Yeah.
To really go for it.
Yep. And I don't follow any celebrities on Instagram, but I follow each of the Hanson brothers.
Yeah.
You bet.
Do they each have their own account and then a band account?
I don't follow the band account, just the boys. I don't know. I'm sure they have a band account.
They still tour and everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
We should get Hanson on the show. Hanson brothers, we'll get you on.
Dude.
Yeah, very sweet. You guys can come. You can come back and hang out.
Last fun Hanson fact. You know, if I was 12 and I released Mbop and the whole world made fun of me, I would grow up the deepest, darkest person in the world, right? Like, I just hate everybody. Instead, those guys have just been, from what I've seen, the nicest people. They're from Oklahoma, Tornado Alley. They're hometown got hit with a tornado bad. So they released a beer called Hops, and all of the profits went to rebuilding their town. That's so
amazing.
Cool. I heard it.
Puns.
I heard it was
Yeah.
a terrible beer, but I'd still buy a 6-pack.
I'd buy it just to have it.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
to have it.
I don't think we're one to really talk much about terrible alcohol, considering that
True.
we've kind of made Malort our calling card.
Yeah, I have a bottle of Malort in my trunk right now.
Do you know the Punk Rock Saves Life people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We met them at
That's
the punk rock fest that we played at. What was that called? Hell is Ohio.
That's right, Hell's Ohio. Yep.
Oh, you met him there? Yeah. So, yeah, that's like their thing too. That's like one of their sponsors. And then Stupid Rad Merch Company. Do you know them?
Don't know
at all?
them.
Like Malort, I don't know. It sort of happened, right? And you guys too. Like it's kind of become a big part of like the greater punk scene. Like Malort is the thing now.
Oh, and Malort themselves, like the company, they're just. I don't know who runs their Instagram account, but they deserve.
They're very
a
funny.
raise. Yeah, they're so funny.
I've only had Malort whenever I've been in Chicago.
We can change that right now.
Yeah, literally. Right now.
Like, he pulls out-
It's in my trunk. I'll go get it.
It's like it's a thing that we started doing
I don't know,
because not a lot of people were like super aware of Malort, but like once you do it, you're like you'll never forget how much you hate it.
Yeah,
and
it's-
so we wanted it to be like a thing where like whenever people are reminded of like the time that they first had Malort, oh yeah, I did that with this punk rock pop punk band out of Ohio. They made me drink this Malort, and now I hate myself even more than I've ever have before. I don't hate myself as much as I used to, so I kind of like, I'll pass. Like I used to be like, yeah, like I don't care about anything. Give me the Malort.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, like I have some self-respect now. Like
If you, I'll go get. I
will do it here on the show. Like,
That-
yeah.
May I be excused?
Go for it. We'll
All
continue
right.
on. I guess we're gonna go back with some more.
Well, you guys can continue on.
Oh my god, that is it's true. Nobody drinks. Sorry, Malort, but nobody drinks Malort because they like it.
Oh, they know. They know. Malort is aware.
It's a bonding experience,
Yeah.
right?
Self-aware, for
It's a bonding experience with friends. To your point, I can tell you I've probably had it maybe like 4 times, and I can tell you those 4 times, like where I was and who I was with, because it's just, it's wild. It's not good.
That's the fun of it is like, see, I won't ever tell people that it's good. I won't try to trick them.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, you
lose credibility if somebody's
it's
like,
like,
"Oh,
you
like
want
this?"
to hit this Malort? Well, what's Malort? I'm like, it's not good. Like I promise you, it's not good, but it's fun.
What's it like produced from?
Wormwood, fermented wormwood.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yes.
guess the story is that Carl Jepsen chain smoked cigars so often that he lost his sense of taste, and that Malort was the only thing that he could taste. Which, if you could taste anything and it was Malort, like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather just not. But like,
I think a lot of people, given the choice between losing their sense of taste and drinking Malort, would choose the former. But I mean, it's so funny though. It's funny that, I when I first saw Punk Rock Saves Lives doing it, I mean, I get it because it's a sponsor, and they don't have it at like the booth and drinking and stuff like that. But like Simon from Stupid Rad Merch Company, who you guys should check out. He does like a lot of cool stuff with a lot of bands and stuff. Like, I think he works with the Bomb Pops maybe.
okay, yeah.
I think that's who it is. A couple other bands, but he's literally at all the festivals with bottles of Malort and like taking pictures of people. And doing
Well,
it. Like,
somebody there
it's
was
insane.
like, "Hey, I've got the barrel-aged Malort if you want some." I'm like, "All right." So he pours it in a cup like this,
Yeah.
and I wasn't aware of because like it's kind of hard to eyeball and be like, "This is how much
Did it melt the
liquid is it?" So I went and I shot it, and it filled up my entire mouth, and there's still some left. So I've got like so much Malort in my mouth, and it's like dripping down my body, and I'm just like, it's so much I can't even. So I'm just holding it in my mouth. I'm just like, I hate myself right now.
It's like, hey, somebody look over there, and then spit it out. It's interesting. There's a barrel-aged version of it. It's is it any better?
Relatively.
Yeah.
I mean, so like if you've had their, they did this thing with like the Revolution Brewing, they had like the Anti-Hero IPA,
Those guys are good.
and their Anti-Hero version is worse than regular Malort. Like somehow,
it's better.
no, the barrel aged is better. The anti-hero is somehow worse. And I've learned that you can't mix Malort with anything to make it taste better. It always makes it taste worse. Yeah. Like nothing improves it. Although I did learn that if you drink it with like straight like coffee, the bitterness cancels each other out.
Interesting. So Carl Jepsen, what was the name of the Call Me Maybe girl? It was
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
God, that's such a good song.
I knew it was something similar to that.
Yeah.
Carl Jepsen. All right. Nick, have you ever had this? Do you want to try it? Ben, would you mind grabbing us a couple cups, please? Sure. You want to try it?
Bottle.
Do you want? Oh, it is a fresh bottle.
That's fresh bottle.
Yeah.
If you see me, there's a 90% chance I have Malort somewhere on me.
That is
or in
amazing.
my car.
You want to try it?
I'm okay.
Really? Really? We didn't sell you on it?
It's the worst sales pitch I've ever heard in my life, to be honest with you.
It's not good, but it's
not.
It's fun.
It's really bad. It tastes like
There you go, brother.
like used cigarette butts and heartbreak.
Oh, God.
It's not good.
It tastes like licking the back
I'm
of
just
like
curious. How
wallpaper.
big of a pour did you give yourself?
Not crazy.
Okay, I'm just
Some.
like up to there.
Some.
I'm just curious.
It's interesting and bad.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the story goes, Carl Jepsen smoked.
All right.
Yeah,
No, Ben, I got you. I got you right here.
we told that story while you were out there.
Oh, did you? Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, I mean it's fine.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's like weird, man.
Yeah. What'd you say? Like burnt, like cigarettes and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like an ashtray that like someone peed in, let marinate in the sun for a few days.
It's like a wet dog covered in hairspray.
It just it's like more and more bitter. Yeah,
It doesn't leave.
No,
It
it's
does not
Like
leave.
a homeless
Wait, yeah,
person gargling gasoline and spitting it in your mouth.
hairspray.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard anybody describe it as like hairspray, and you nailed it.
Yeah.
Like plasticky hairspray.
It doesn't. It genuinely doesn't taste.
It tastes like burnt plastic.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like something you should ingest.
Hairspray and
At
burnt
all.
plastic.
Like, it
Malort
really
want to
does.
sponsor the show?
But see, they love when
They love-
people
yeah, they love it. I know they do.
because they know that's why people get it. Nobody buys it because it's good.
Yeah.
Except for our friend Caleb, who's like, I'll drink it.
Imagine fathering a product that everybody drinks because it's awful.
They're.
I don't know. That just seems
I mean, they know, like they've had years ago, like not years, like 5-6 years ago, they were doing like these online commercials and stuff, and it was just to your point, they acknowledge it's not good.
Yeah, they printed a.
I've had that in a
Christmas
minute.
box of Malort, which came with a Malornament, which
I
I
have that.
still have. And it says on the side of the
Is that you or them?
that was them. But
good.
it says on the side of the box, it says for your best friend or your worst enemy. It's a true story.
I feel like I had more I wanted to talk about with you guys, but this is just taking a turn. This is what
Just
we're doing
wipes.
now. This is where we are.
Wipes.
Malort has wrecked the show.
Yeah, thanks, Malort.
You want some more Malort?
Malort. Tonight's the night you fight your dad.
I've met people that say that they like it, and I call those people liars.
Yeah.
Like nobody likes it. That's like stop trying to be cool. Like you don't like it.
Yeah.
It tastes like something's gone bad.
Yeah.
And like it went bad a while ago.
Yeah.
It's like rotten grapefruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hate grapefruit, man.
The thing about people who drink Malort though is like at least we acknowledge that it's not good. Like you have people who like drink gin and they're like gin is amazing. I'm like you're a sociopath.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
There's not even grapefruit in that, is there?
No, but
But it does. It tastes like rotten grapefruit.
Yep.
Yeah.
With somebody sprayed hairspray on it.
And just a touch of cigarette ash.
We should try that. We should try to like mix some things together. But like, does this taste like Malort?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great, but it's fun.
It
You know,
sounds
that's
dangerous.
always what Malort's been for us, like us and our close friends at our shows. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're all drinking Malort, and it's terrible. Let's go.
Isn't it gross? Let's do it.
Yeah, it's so gross.
It's like somebody's like, oh, smell that.
I mean, we are the jackass generation.
Yeah.
So
we are. That's
Yep.
yeah. This is
It washes down well. I'll give it that.
I'm just now getting rid of the flavor.
what kind of compliment is that? It washes down. It washes down well.
I mean, it usually lingers. So
It's
like,
hilarious. It washes down. It's so funny. It's like yeah, you can really get the taste out easily. I got a beer here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
So, anyways, that's the band drink of choice.
Yep. Oh, where were we? Oh, I know what I was going to ask you before you left. Doesn't even matter anymore, really. But so we were talking about the Counting Crows. I want to know. I don't remember the song "Omaha." Was that a hit for them, or was that like a track off the album?
Track off the album.
Okay, I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's great.
But I don't remember ever being a hit. I just got like.
I mean,
I just got,
really,
a head
like
rush.
when I
It's weird.
think of Counting Crows, or I talk to people about Counting Crows, it's every now and again you get like All My Friends, or I Wish I Was a Girl, or American Girls, but really it's just
Around Here.
Around Here. That's another one.
Around Here's so good.
Wasn't that in Shrek? Is that the Shrek song?
No, that's
No, that was-
happily or what is it? Something about like
Parking Lot?
no.
Oh yeah, Big Yellow Taxi.
Yeah.
What is it?
Accidentally in love.
Accidentally in Love.
Accidentally
that's
in
it.
Love. Yeah,
But
that was it.
Really, you only get those.
I
songs.
wish Around Here was in Shrek. That would have been a really kind of sad moment for Shrek because that song is depressing as hell.
Yeah, it's Mr.
That's why I love
Jones
it.
and A Long December. That's really all you get.
Yeah. So what is everything's just I'm just staring at that bottle and it just
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Completely.
You know, it really loosened up the room.
yeah.
Malort really just.
A second ago, I switched to the shot for you, and it's directly in the shot. And I was like, well, I need to move it out. Well, it's kind of there.
It's there. It is looming over everything.
It is now dictating this conversation.
Also, I know you guys are in a bit of a time crunch. So we'll have you play a couple or a few songs, whatever you want to do. But before we do that, tell everybody where they can find all the latest goings-ons with the band and music and all that good stuff, shows.
CotterOfficial.com, at CotterOfficial on any social media page.
To be honest, we're gonna, we have a show, the Huge show, on my birthday, which is great, and then we're
December 10th.
I will be
December
there.
10th. Yeah,
I'm one of the sponsors of the show, my company.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, but after that, we are, I've talked with Will Dealey of Beartooth. We're reaching out to Adam Gilbert of Starset. We're trying to get the crew back together, and we're going to go into hibernation for a few months and come back out with just.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So this will be our last show for maybe spring, summer. We'll see.
The huge holiday show.
Yeah.
That is December
10th.
which is Saturday.
Yep.
Great lineup of bands,
Oh, it's going to be great.
and it's for great calls. It's the last ever huge. It's funny that I had him on the very first episode, and we broke the news about the show, and now we're talking about it again. So many episodes later, but that's going to be fun, and it's the last one he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the finale.
I did the first one with them.
No kidding.
I played the first huge holiday show, and I will also play the last.
Bookended it. There you go. So yeah, we got some fun stuff coming up for you guys. Maybe new material sometime.
We're trying to
next
shoot
year.
for a new EP.
Yeah.
Next
By
2023.
summer, by
Yeah.
summertime
Yeah.
of 2023. We're going to have a new EP out.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the Malort,
Yeah, I mean,
Carly Rae Jepsen Malort.
That's right.
there's something to that. Like,
There's something to that.
It really was a great time. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go try to wash this out of my mouth. We're gonna reset, and you guys are gonna play a couple songs,
Yeah.
and we'll be back in just a second. Oh my god, that was fun, guys.
That was awesome. Tried my head, breaking my fall.
Think I missed you, but you haven't called.
Scratching my head, fighting with you.
'Cause I could really do without the attitude. Oh yeah.
Alright. Try to escape, you're staying out late.
Doesn't really help,
But that's my fate. Is this what you want? Yeah, I can be gone.
anyone to blame all your problems.
And we'll go over and over and over again. Are we breaking up? Well, I'm breaking down. We can try to repent, but that's over now. You don't care if I stay. I don't care if you leave. Maybe I'm just a mess of all of these things. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
best. Dearly beloved, this is what love is. It's the wound inside my chest.
From the blade you pushed in my back, penetrate the whole way through, and I'm bleeding out all over town to get away from you. We'll go over and over and over again. Are we breaking up while I'm breaking down? We can try to repent, but that's over now. You don't care if I stay, I don't care if you leave. Maybe I'm just remiss of all of these things. Are we breaking up while I'm breaking down? We can try to repent, but that's over now. You don't care if I stay, I don't care if you leave. Maybe I'm just remiss of all of these things. Are we breaking up?
I don't know.
While I'm breaking down. I'm drinking in my bedroom, and you're taking off your ring. You can throw it in the ocean, we can drown our love at sea. I'm thinking of when I first met you. You were the only one for me. Now I'm ripping out the pages of our book. Now all that's left to do is sing. And then one day I woke up older. Missing you is like getting sober. There's just no point when you can't get closure. Losing you is like getting sober.
Losing you is like getting sober.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right. Next one is definitely our most popular song. It's Keep Driving. And it's a little different, too, because Keep Driving, first off, wasn't called Keep Driving. All the World's Vices in Disguise of Its Graces. Was that it?
It was.
It's a mouthful. But it was pretty different, and we're going to include the first verse for you.
I think I stole that line from Haunting of Bly Manor. I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember I wrote it down in my phone. I'm just like, that sounds cool.
Yeah?
All right.
Well, let's do it. I tried to write a hopeful song, but times like this I don't belong. To breathe is an egregious chore. I keep on coming back for more. And I can't shake feeling worthless, and each day has lost its purpose. When giving up is giving in, I think I've lost myself again. It's how it feels when nothing's real. These shaking bones I can't hold still. It turns you into something against everything you are. When I said I'll never let you down, but now she's drowning, bleeding out. My melancholic attitude fades to blue when I'm with you. So what's the point of caring when everything is just temporary? Hold on to this hope and then I'll just keep driving. But I'm finding hope in a note you wrote. So
some years ago on Christmas, and it reads like we both need this, like a love you can't keep secret. When I fade to black like a heart attack, a floodgate's open, I can't hold back from breaking down and how I'll be addicted to my apathy. I'll never let you down, but now she's drowning, bleeding out. My melancholic attitude fades to blue when I'm with you. What's the point of caring when everything is just temporary? Hold on to this hope and then I'll just keep driving. I'll get up when I'm down, and I won't crumble now. I'm okay, I'm not hopeless. I'll never let you down, but now she's drowning, bleeding out. My melancholic attitude fades to blue when I'm with you. What's the point of caring when everything is just temporary? Hold on to this hope and then I'll just keep driving.
All right. Love it. Thank you. My voice fell apart a little bit there at the end. The raspiness.
Boxland Media, think big.